Welcome to Abyssal Narratives, a place where ancient myths, long-buried truths, and arcane forces rise from the depths of forgotten time, not to comfort the curious, but to confront them. Beneath the world we think we know, there are names that were never meant to be spoken aloud. Symbols carved into stone, eroded by time, yet preserved by fear. And there are truths so potent, so volatile, that they weren't hidden to keep them safe from us, but to keep us safe from them. Tonight we step into one of those truths. Not a story passed down by torchlight or recorded in public history, but a legend murmured through ritual, madness, and corrupted bloodlines. A name feared by occultists, disguised by scholars, and glimpsed only in the shadows where academia refuses to look. This is no beast dragged from the underworld, no fire-breathing monster meant to shock or awe. What we face is far more dangerous, a mind cloaked in silence, a monarch of secrets, a presence so vast it does not destroy through violence, but through revelation. He does not torture, he teaches, he does not chase. He waits patiently to be summoned, not by accident, but by longing, not in panic, but in ambition, because his power lies in the one promise all of us, deep down, hunger to believe, that we could be more than this body, more than this life, more than this fate, that we could pull aside the curtain of existence and learn what lies beyond it. But every answer he gives takes something in return. And once you say his name, once you reach for what he offers, a part of you will never return from that exchange. This is the story of King Paimon, demon of forbidden knowledge, manipulator of will, and architect of ambition's collapse. So light your candle, shut the door, and follow me now into the silence between worlds, where power waits, not with hunger or rage, but with patience, waiting for someone bold enough or foolish enough to ask. The Silent Crown, Paimon's rise through rebellion. Long before horror films dragged his name into public consciousness, Paimon reigned over the deepest pages of the occult. In the Lemegeton's Goetia, in Johann Weier's Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, and countless forbidden manuscripts, his presence is clear, not as a monster, but as a monarch. He is described not as a creature of chaos, but of precision. Where other demons tear down empires, Paimon builds them. He's not fire or fury, he is structure, logic, and control. A king in a kingdom built on shadows. Unlike many fallen angels who defied heaven out of hatred, Paimon is said to have joined Lucifer's rebellion not from malice, but from calculated loyalty. He fought not like a wild beast, but like a tactician, a general, an advisor to a new world order. While others fell into chaos, he fell into rank. Some ancient texts hint that he once served as a dominion or even a cherubim, classes of angels meant to uphold divine law and knowledge. But after the fall, he didn't lose his purpose. He simply switched thrones. His status is unmatched. Between 85 to 200 legions of spirits, including both demons and fallen angels, answer to his command. Some serve in his courts, others serve as diplomats to other infernal princes. He is not just a king, he is a governing force within hell itself. And this is why during the Renaissance, he wasn't feared as a devil. He was consulted. Scholars, nobles, and secret societies invoked him to learn, to win, to rule, to gain access to the forbidden layers of reality no man was meant to understand. They didn't see him as an evil, they saw him as a key. But as every lock opens, some doors should never be entered. The royal ritual, how to call the uncallable. Calling upon Paimon is not an act of desperation, it is a ceremony of surrender. Unlike lesser spirits that come with blood and fear, Paimon arrives in splendor. He is always preceded by sound, crashing cymbals, blaring trumpets, otherworldly drums, as if hell itself is announcing a king's arrival. He rides a majestic dromedary, a creature symbolic of both burden and swiftness, and appears wearing a crown of pearls, representing wisdom, mystery, and the sacredness of what is hidden. His appearance is unsettling, yet enthralling. Described as having a face both masculine and feminine, his androgynous form isn't just aesthetic, it symbolizes duality, complexity, and the convergence of opposites. creator and destroyer, mind and madness, control and chaos. When he speaks, the air thickens. His voice is said to be so deafening and overwhelming, summoners must request, or beg, him to lower it. Not because he's aggressive, but because his very being is too much for the human mind. And the ritual? It must face northwest, toward his dominion in hell. He must be greeted with gifts, offerings, and above all, respect. One does not command him, one does not bind him. He is not a servant, he is a king. If your intentions are pure, or at least aligned, he may come with two lesser kings, Thiel and the ever-dreaded Abalam. The latter is especially feared. He is said to impregnate women through sheer desire, producing demonic hybrids born of will, not flesh. This is not a tale of superstition, it is a ritual economy, a system of exchange where power is traded for something more personal than blood. Agency, identity, will, to summon Paimon is to invite an empire into your life and lose your place within it. The Scholar of Shadows, what Paimon teaches and takes. What makes Paimon so desirable isn't his legions or terror, it's his knowledge. He governs over natural and occult sciences, astronomy, mathematics and medicine, secret philosophies and divine languages, the elemental forces of earth, wind, fire and water, and the deepest mechanics of the human psyche. He knows what moves kings, what breaks empires, and what drives the human heart. For occultists, he is a guide through the veil. He doesn't just give answers, he reveals foundations, teaches the framework, shows you the divine machine behind reality. He opens doors in the mind that once unlocked can never be shut again. He grants familiars, spiritual companions and protectors, sometimes animals, sometimes shadows, sometimes mirrors of yourself. He can bestow dignitary titles, bring wealth, charm, military success, or intellectual mastery. He has even been credited in arcane circles with reviving the dead, not always in body, but in memory, spirit, or possession. But every lesson comes with a shadow. The more you learn from him, the more you lose of yourself. Not all at once, slowly, elegantly, thought by thought, question by question, until you're no longer sure if the answers you sought were ever worth the cost of asking. Paimon is the intellectual Faustian bargain, not pain for pleasure, but insight for erosion. Hereditary, a blueprint for demonic rebirth. Ari Aster's Hereditary isn't just a film, it is a ritual disguised as cinema. At the center of its nightmare is Ellen, the matriarch of the Graham family, a devoted cultist who orchestrates her family's fate across generations. But she is not the villain, she is the acolyte. Her granddaughter, Charlie, is marked from birth, not loved but prepared. She is not a child, she is a vessel. But Paimon cannot reside in a female form, he requires a male host. And when Charlie dies, her brother Peter is forced into the role she was never meant to keep. Everything, from the grief to the visions, from the seance to the suicides, is not chaos. It is a precise ritual, a possession by lineage. Peter's transformation isn't violent. It is slow, psychological. It is the story of a boy whose identity is shattered not by demons, but by destiny. Until, in the film's final moments, he is no longer himself. He is Paimon. Hereditary is horrifying not because of gore or ghosts, but because it tells a truth we fear. That sometimes our fate is not ours. That we are born into rituals not of our making. And that the curse isn't what happens to us. It's what's already inside us, waiting to be claimed. The final price, why Paimon terrifies us. Paimon isn't the kind of demon you run from. He's not a creature in the shadows or a force that strikes with fire and fury. He's far more insidious. Because Paimon doesn't pursue you, you pursue him. He doesn't terrify with screams or violence, he terrifies because he offers power, understanding, influence, legacy. He is the quiet voice behind every burning question, the seductive pull toward truths we were never meant to uncover. He doesn't deceive, he gives you exactly what you ask for. And that's the danger. By the time you realize the cost, you've already paid it. Paimon strips you down, not with pain, but with knowledge. Slowly, elegantly. You ask and he answers. But each answer takes something, your certainty, your convictions, your sense of self, until what remains is no longer you, but a reflection of something darker. That's why he endures, not as a monster, but as a mirror, a symbol of unchecked ambition, of curiosity without restraint, of the part of us that would sacrifice anything just to know more. Paimon doesn't haunt, he waits, and when you finally reach for him, it's already too late. Conclusion. Here at Abyssal Narratives, we do not chase shadows for fear. We chase them because they reflect us. If this descent into the mind of a kingly demon disturbed, fascinated, or awakened something within you, like, comment, and subscribe. We explore the myths the world ignores and the truths that echo beneath every story you thought was just fiction. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and above all, beware what you ask for, because sometimes something ancient answers.